Staying on the topic of diplomacy, let's look at what India has been up to at the UN. India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is in New York, and yesterday he met with the foreign ministers of Brazil and South Africa. They came together to discuss global issues like security, the wars in Ukraine and West Asia, and terrorism. And that last point is what we want to focus on for now. Brazil, South Africa and India have issued a joint statement urging the international community to act against all UN-listed terrorists. The statement named 4 terror groups in particular: Al-Qaeda, ISIS, Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed. Now, the entire world knows about the first 2 groups, Al-Qaeda and ISIS. But the Lashkar-e-Toiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed sometimes get overlooked, perhaps because they only target India. The LET and JEM, as they're called, have one purpose: to try and capture Kashmir and merge it with Pakistan. Obviously, the 2 groups are based in Pakistan as well, using the country as a base from which to conduct terror operations. And they've been doing this for decades. And yet, they often fly under the radar. Hopefully, the latest statement will reverse this trend, put the focus back on these terror outfits and on their patron, Pakistan. Pakistan is known as a state sponsor of terror. It is a known sponsor of terrorism. It harbors terror groups like the Lashkar and Jaish. The Pakistani military arms and trains them and sets them loose upon innocent people in India. Having Pakistan as a neighbor is like living next to a mosquito farmer whose sole purpose in life is to release a blood-sucking swarm into your backyard. But in recent years, Pakistan's global image has almost been rehabilitated. It's off terror funding watch lists. It's getting pocket money from Western institutions again, and it's even trying to enter BRICS to give sage advice on successful economic development, no doubt. How has this happened? How has the world forgotten what Pakistan really is? Well, maybe because there are other priorities now. 2022 saw the war in Ukraine. 2023 brought the Israel-Hamas war. Before the wars, we had the Wuhan virus pandemic. It's been a chaotic few years. Everyone has been dealing with their own problems. So maybe Pakistan was not on top of their minds. It was the perfect opportunity for Islamabad to try and wipe the slate clean, to repackage itself as just a broke nation, instead of a nation that went broke while funding terrorists. Whatever its current public image, the facts remain the same as always. Pakistan is a military puppet state where the army breeds both horses and terrorists. Pakistan continues to give Lashkar and Jaish a safe haven. It continues to finance and facilitate terrorists in the hopes of one day capturing and then promptly beggaring Kashmir. So this statement is important to remind the world about Islamabad's true colors by highlighting the Lashkar-e-Toiba and the Jaish-e-Mohammed. It shines the spotlight on Pakistan's explosive hobbies. It reminds the world that behind Pakistan's broke facade, there lies a regime which wants to promote violence and terror. With Brazil and South Africa extending their support, this should be seen as a victory for Indian diplomacy.